Thanks for joining this session. A secure SAP platform, a foundation for SAP security. In this session, we are covering an introduction of the challenge that we are going to face to secure our SAP. We are going to cover the two pillars that are the foundation for the secure SAP, which are security and reliability, and we are going to cover how the entire SAP landscape platform should be part of this secure SAP story. My name is Sebastián Martinez. I am the Product Marketing Manager for SAP Solutions at SUSE, and welcome to this session. As an introduction, we are going to talk about which challenges and threats we are facing in our SAP environments. Mainly, all of us runs our business over SAP. And this is the reason why it is a target for cybercrime that is looking for the business data and business process that are managed by our SAP environment. Obviously, it's a target for data leaks, ransomware, espionage, business disruption, sabotage. And this is not the only bad news. The attack surface in this SAP environment, in our SAP environments, are growing. We use non-isolated environments like cloud, hybrid environments, software as a service, and obviously all of them make the environment complex and more difficult to be secure. Of course, the supply chain attacks are growing, and there are a lot of concerns around the application that we are connecting to our SAP environment. We have new containerized applications that use new containers platform, and of course, these enterprise container security concerns are rising at the same pace that applications are deployed. But not just containerized applications are deployed. We are deploying. We have a big deployment of new edge device connected to the SAP platform. All of this makes that the SAP attack surface is bigger than ever. And of course, you know what security breach means for the company. It means business disruption, it means data loss, it means high costs because we could have fines or because we are going to lose business. We are going to have a damage to the brand, we are going to lose consumer confidence, we are going to have a lot of issues if we have this security breach. All of us know that. And this led me to introduce the cybersecurity challenge. We need to know that top SAP cybersecurity challenges and threats are related in some way with the SAP platform. If you read the last report about cybersecurity threats to SAP systems from SAP Insider, you could find that 5 of 10 top SAP cybersecurity threats are related to the platform in some way. And 4 of the top 4 challenges are related to. Of course, most of them are interrelated between them. For example, we have a threat that is talking about limited visibility, and obviously we have a challenge about how to detect potential threats, or how we are going to have a big threat that is one of the main ones, that is we are having unpatched systems in our SAP environment, and there is a challenge very related that we don't know how to keep up with patches and updates. And this means that SAP platform is key for the SAP security and to have a secure SAP. But first, we are going to define what is a secure SAP. A secure SAP is much more than just security. It's key to ensure business continuity. First, we need to be sure that we understand what secures mean. If you go to the dictionary, secure means the certain to remain safe and unthreatened. Therefore, a secure SAP ensures business continuity, removing internal and external threats. And in this way, A secure SAP platform is the foundation of this secure SAP, and just a trusted platform endorsed by SAP and its ecosystem that delivers maximum security, minimizing the risk, could be the foundation of that. As an abstract, a secure SAP platform is the foundation of a secure business. Well, what are the components of this secure SAP platform? Mainly, we have two big components. First, we are going to talk about security, but security could not be built without a reliable platform. This means that there is a second pillar that is reliability. In security, we are going to talk about a provider that have all the security certification in the operating system, in the infrastructure. We are going to talk about a provider that is able to provide you the certification that the software is built in a secure software supply chain. We are talking about security certifications like common criteria EAL 4 plus or FIPS 140. But we are going to talk about the secure software supply chain certification like the highest level of Google Salsa or the common criteria one that we have mentioned before. And this is what SUSE provides to you to assure that your security is built over a base that is certified. We are going to talk about certification later, but you need to know that this is the foundation. The second step is the security features and characteristics that we provide to the customer. SUSE provides a confidential computing operating system ready. We are providing guides to do the hardening of your SAP HANA systems, but we are providing with the biggest hyperscalers hardened cloud image pre-configured to be used. But we are talking about SAP specific security characteristics like as SAP HANA Firewall or our integrated antivirus for SAP that is connected to the API of the NetWeaver environment. And not just that, we are talking about the low-level operating system security like APP Armor or SE Linux or tools like advanced intrusion detection, or we are talking about other capabilities and characteristics like remote storage encryption or the certification that we provide with SAP, the premium certification that includes the Endor SAP program. And in the upper part, we are providing the tools to do the vulnerability and patch management. We are providing the technology with OpenSCAP and the CVEs to detect the vulnerabilities, to do the full vulnerability management, to implement and to enforce patching policies, including tools to patch without service downtime. And all of these security characteristics are based in a reliable platform. A reliable platform that should be based in a trusted platform. A trusted platform that is trusted by most SAP customers, preferred by most SAP customers, but preferred by most SAP partners. Is the chosen platform to do the reference architecture, to do the best practice, certified by all hardware providers, by all cloud providers, by virtualization, with virtualization or without virtualization in physical environments, and is chosen to do more than the 90% of the benchmark, which is a very significant number about how reliable it is for all partners. And of course, a platform that is endorsed by SAP itself, because this means a trusted platform, means that is preferred by customer, preferred by partners, and preferred by SAP. And in this way, you're going to have all the benefits to be a trusted platform for all of them. And it's a platform that should be reliable by design. We are not talking only about the operating system. We are not talking just about SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP application. We are talking about the best practice, the automation, the management tool and monitoring tools, and the continuous validation that tools like Trento, SUSE Manager, or SUSE Live Patching are providing to the platform. We ensure that we are going to have a secure SAP project. All that kind of things, the best practice, automation, monitoring, are going to ensure that you are going to have a reliable platform. And last but not least, we are going to talk about high availability. We are going to talk about how we support all the scenarios. We have all the reference architecture needed. We have co-development with SAP and with the partners to be sure that we have unique features and we have like fast dying in the server or the single mount cluster scenario that is recommended by Microsoft, or that these kind of things that are requested by our customers to ensure the reliability and of the SAP system, to have a system that doesn't have any downtime. All of that give to us what we call a SAP platform operational excellence. It enables us to have this operational excellence, to have this reliability and this pillar to the secure recipe platform. Of course, we need the SUSE experience and expertise that will be the foundation of this secure recipe platform. Well, we are going to talk about key topics about security. First, what is the significance of certification? Mainly, any trusted secure platform must be certified because a certification guarantees the compliance and avoid risk. Security needs to be demonstrated. For example, common criteria EAL4 plus, or that is related to the security of the platform itself, or FIPS that is related to cryptographic libraries, the 140 FIPS certification, demonstrate that we have a secure software. And obviously, it automates and speed up the organization audits. If you need to build your audit over a system that is certified, is going to be more easy if you don't need to do all the stuff by your own. Okay, why security certification? Because SUSE is making Linux enterprise ready. But enterprise, as we say, need to demonstrate risk avoidance and compliance. And one of the risks, of course, is security. For this reason, security needs to be demonstrated. And making security enterprise ready, the only way to do that is to certify process and product. The solution is something that the standard gives to you. Common criteria, EL4 plus, FIPS 140 are mainly certification in which you are could base the security of your platform. Platform based on certificated providers are easier to be audited because you don't need to do the task by your own. You could rely and trust that the software that are provided by these providers are secure. To know what each certification means, we are going to talk about common criteria when we want to be sure about how to get the security that I need. We are going to talk about FIPS 140 when we want to be sure that our crypto algorithms are conforming to the standard. We are going to have others like STIC or PCI to manage the financial data. And less important is not the secure software supply chain. A secure software supply chain means that a secure sub-platform must be trusted at the source, because the software is only as secure as its weakest component. A secure and trusted IT can only be can only be done by providers that have a certified secure software supply chain. SUSE has both of them, EAL4 Plus and SALSA highest level certifications. But why is important? Because when we analyze the anatomy of a supply chain attack, like the SolarWinds that happens some years ago, we could realize about how massive could be and how big could be the hole. The first, in early 2020, the hackers broke SolarWinds system and installed or add malicious code. Obviously, this system was used by customers worldwide, and the company SolarWinds send updates to their customers that include the hacked code. This means that this code creates a backdoor in the customer's IT systems, which hackers use to add malware and spy these other companies that are using this software. Of course, this case a massive exposure of sensitive data. How we could prevent that in our SAP platform? Mainly using certified secure software supply chain providers and choosing a Linux operating system certified at the highest evaluation assurance levels for common criteria or SALSA. In the platform, in the operating system, we could do these both things with SUSE. I'm going to put an example about what this certification means, how SUSE is doing to have this certification. As you know, the open source code is brought by community code, but in SUSE, we pick the code, we review the code, we make a package selection, we make an automate testing, we made a manual testing, and we have a build service and a delivery network that all of them are following the process that are defined by these certifications to assure and ensure that the software that go to our customer is secure and is not easy to be accessed by a hacker. Not just EAL4 Plus, we are talking about the SALSA highest level certified, that is SUSE Linux. But we are going to talk about vulnerability management and patch management. We are going to talk about how to solve the paradox of patching. Mainly, we need to enforce a day one patching policy on the SAP platform to assure and be ensured that we are not facing issues with security. And well, first, what is the paradox of patching? The paradox of patching has a very easy to understand definition. Most of you are going to understand that perfectly. The more critical a system is and the more it needs to be available, the less likely is to be patched. This means that unfortunately we found so many companies that patch often a marketing website than our HANA database with our core data. Um, okay, but this is not because we don't know that we need to patch our database or our SAP systems. The thing is that SAP operating systems, vulnerabilities, and critical bugs need to be fixed urgently. But the 47% of SAP customers challenge to keep up with patches and updates because it's complex to enforce a security patching policy, because it's very difficult to negotiate maintenance windows with service downtime. We need to, as we told, SAP systems are maintaining our business. If we have a downtime on our SAP system, on our SAP environment, obviously our business could have a downtime, and nobody wants to negotiate a business downtime. But also we have a high availability system, we are going to deal with the need to put IT resource, people out of working hours to patch the system. And nobody wants to spend the Saturday night doing patching instead to be with their family. And of course, there is another issue that we have a lack of vulnerability management tools. So many people say that they do manually. But I would like to remark that day one vulnerabilities and critical bugs are a real threat. Yeah. The solution, a dual patching policy. As soon as a vulnerability is known, the threat grows exponentially. Day one remediation is defined to fix this hole. I'm going to remark that the day one patch is not optional. Every day with a vulnerability is critical. I'm going to explain that in a very easy way. Day zero vulnerabilities are known only by very few people. Obviously, it could be a risk, but in the very first day that this vulnerability are known, every hacker worldwide know that, and there are tools to automate the attacks. Every day that vulnerability is known, the means that the threat grows exponentially. This is the truth. Any teenager with some automatic automation that could be done by tools that are in the dark web could make an attack with a no day one vulnerability. This is the reason why day one patch is not optimal. And the dual patching policy is going to define a day one vulnerability remediation patching that must patch bugs in operating system kernel and user space libraries like OpenSSL or Glitzy that should be done without no service downtime and no maintenance windows. And we need to implement a workflow staging and test to ensure that this patching is done without affect to the system reliability. And to do that, we need a commitment from the provider, from the OS provider like SUSE, in long term, because we need to commit to you that all the vulnerabilities that are bigger than level 7 or all the bugs that are going to cause any data loss in your system are going to be delivered as a live patching. Not just for 1 month or 2 months, for a large period, a long period that will allow you to define a dual patching policy. And of course, you are going to need to define a regular maintenance, including patching with all the needed patches, with automate the patch application, including the automation of the patching of clusters to avoid disruption, with the tests needed, with the staging tool, with workflows, and obviously these regular maintenance are going to need a reboot. Let me put an example about what this dual patching policy means when you and how you could implement that with a slash for SAP application and SUSE Live patching and automation included in SUSE Manager. First, if you have a slash for SAP application in your test environment, in your S4HANA environment in test, in pre-production, and in the production cluster with one primary site and a secondary that is not active, you could define with SUSE Manager and standard maintenance policy of patching that is going to happen every 12 months. But in the wild, you need to define another policy that is going to be an immediate remediation policy for all the vulnerabilities and day one vulnerabilities that happen in between this maintenance period. Okay, when any vulnerability arises, we are going to start a live patching workflow. The live patching workflow is going to be patched directly in the test environment and test that everything was right. Mainly, it doesn't need downtime, it doesn't need reboot. It's going to be immediately. You could do that any working day. Of course, after do that, you are going to promote these patches to the pre-production system and do the same. You are going to validate and test that everything is right. After that, you are going to promote to the secondary node, test it again and validate it again, and do it in the S4HANA primary node of the cluster without any service downtime, neither milliseconds. It's not going to be any interrupted. And you're going to do it often, every time that you have any kernel bug, every library vulnerability, any kernel critical vulnerability, and so on, or bug, until you start or you reach the year in which you are going to define the standard maintenance policy that is going to need a reboot. This policy is going to be launched with an automation workflow for patching that is going to patch the test environment, reboot that, and test and validate these patches. And in the same way, you are going to do staging and you are going to promote the patches to the pre-production environment when you have validated that these patches are right. And after do that in pre-production, you are going to be ready to start the cluster patching workflow automation, which is a automation done to be sure that you are not going to have any interruption in your cluster when you are patching. Because the best thing is to avoid any disruption that could be done by error-prone manual process. In this case, the workflow is going to put in maintenance mode the secondary node. The secondary S4HANA node is going to be patched, it's going to be reboot, it's going to be test, and after that, you are going to promote the secondary to primary S4HANA node, changing the HANA service to the other node. To be sure that your service is up and running all the time. After that, you are going to patch the primary node and the same. And after the validation, you could finish this standard maintenance policy window. The standard policy windows. Okay, this is important because after that you could continue with the live patching workflow every time that you have another kernel vulnerability, library vulnerability, or bugs. As you could see, in this way you could enforce this dual patching policy. You could enforce that your infrastructure team do an immediate remediation of day one vulnerabilities because there is not going to be any maintenance windows, there is not going to be any service downtime while you are patching these critical bugs. But we are going to talk about confidential computing too. It's going to be a game changer for highly regulated industries. Mainly, some industries cannot leverage the cloud. Confidential data of highly regulated industry can be used in multi-tenant environments because how we could trust cloud provider without auditable proof? Mainly in cloud, the infrastructure is a shared infrastructure. We have a multi-tenant environment. And until now, we encrypt the data at rest with storage encryption. And we encrypt the data in the network, the data in transit with zero trust network encryption and protocols like HTTPS. But right now with confidential computing, we are going to encrypt the data in memory and CPU. And better than that, we are going to have a proof for audit that is called remote attestation that will demonstrate that our environment is encrypted and is keeping the needed integrity to be run in a remote location. Mainly, the benefits are going to be that we are going to unlock the cloud for highly regulated industry. We are to enforce the confidentiality of sensitive data. We are going to be able to trust the service provider without auditable attestation. And we are going to leverage multi-tenant environments for sensitive data workload confidence. The best thing is transparent for customer and application. No change in the workload or code is required. And you only need to trust the operating system and the provider and the CPU provider and the application provider if you want. You could check the integrity of this complete and entire software stack. Mainly, only SUSE innovation with when vendors like Intel could offer you this protection against outside and inside attack. And this is going to be a game changer for SAP customers too. But we are going to talk about reliability. Reliability is the other pillar of a secure SAP platform because a reliable SAP platform is a journey. It's a journey to be able to reach the SAP platform operational excellence. And what is SAP operational excellence? It's a goal to deliver innovation while reducing risk and cost. The SAP platform operational excellence is the foundation to reach that goal. Mainly, operational excellence is the IT ability to improve services and business performance through practice that lowers operating costs and risk. We are talking about a full journey. It's tied to the entire life cycle of any IT project or application, from the design to the evolution of the environment, from the day zero, the design day, to the day n+1, the operation day. And mainly, this sub-operational excellence is related to processes and workflows on our organization. But the sub-platform design, operation, and associated best practice are the foundation to start from. Okay, we are going to talk about what is that SAP platform operational excellence and all this journey. We are going to talk about the day zero, the day in which we plan an architect, in which SUSE could provide the best practice, the reference architecture, and the certification predictability to assure your production dates. For example, you could be sure that if you choose SUSE, you are going to have certified the latest version of the operating system in the latest hardware that you choose, regardless is in cloud or is a physical environment or is virtual. When we are talking about the day one, we are talking about the provision and deployment of the systems. And in this very moment, we are going to have the automation to be able to deploy this best practice and reference architecture in an automated way to avoid error-prone operation. We are going to provide the infrastructure everywhere or anywhere, the sub-platform core, which is the operating system and the SAP applications, and we are going to help because after the day one comes the day two, when you need to manage and operate the platform. In this moment, we are going to provide the right management tool, the monitoring tools that are going to validate the best practice alignment of your environment, not just the first day, all the life cycle of the environment to avoid risk, and is going to implement the needed security characteristics. And all of that provides what we call SAP operational excellence. But this operational excellence could be extended. There are more things a part of the SAP platform itself, a part of this HANA database, the S/4HANA application servers. And we could say that our SAP environment is extended to all that other IT infrastructure that is connected to SAP. And we are going to connect through things like SAP side-by-side extension in containers, or in edge device when we are going to go to IoT connected to SAP, and obviously all of this kind of modernization that happen in in our landscape. And this mainly makes that the operational excellence is going to be extended to the entire IT. And how we provide that? We provide that with SLS for SAP, which provides you the best practice and automation to deploy the infrastructure and the SAP platform from the operating system to the HANA database or the application server. We are going to provide the management tool, the monitoring tools with Trento, with SUSE Manager, that are going to ensure that your applications, your SAP applications are running and are aligned to the best practice to avoid error-prone operation and avoid risks and issues in the full life cycle. And we are going to provide this needed security with things like this SLS live patching to patch your system without service on time, to implement the dual patching policy and enforce this day one vulnerability patching on your environment. And all of that is the SAP platform operational excellence. But we are going to provide you the infrastructure for containers, the security for the zero trust network that is NetVector, and the SUSE Linux /micro and slave-based container to do the needed modernization and to extend this operational excellence to the other parts of the IT. Okay, we'll continue talking about what means an endorsed platform. Mainly, you need to know that SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP application is the only Linux endorsed by SAP. And therefore, this ensure and secure your SAP project. This means that SUSE has the only OS with SAP Premium certification, because SAP endorsed app are a premium certified but SAP application with added security, in-depth testing, and measures against benchmark results that extend SAP solution in a way that we could ensure that everything is going to run. Well, mainly we talk about the secure platform because it's preferred by customers with more than 300 public reference and with thousands of customers. But this means that we are the leading operating system for SAP HANA. And why this is important? Because we could say that we have the most tested platform for SAP. It's preferred by SAP partners with the broadest hyperscalers and partner ecosystem support. And the demonstration is, for example, that we have more than the 90% of the SAP benchmark that are running on SUSE. And we are trusted by SAP because it's the SAP implementation platform. We have this reference, and we have more than 20 years working with SAP as a partner and as a customer. And we are, of course, SAP endorsed premium certified with SLS for SAP. And this provides to you a more secure SAP platform with the best built-in security and reliability to reduce risk, to ensure your project from design to operation, ready for confidential computing with the highest certification levels. And obviously, it's giving you not just a secure platform, it's giving you, or it's going to secure your innovation, because we are a co-innovation partner with SAP. And we have all the SAP automation and continuous best practice validation that you are going to need. Besides that, we have unique innovations like the high availability innovation that are led by SUSE. Okay, let me say why preferred means secure SAP. Preferred secure your SAP project because be preferred means that you are going to have a certification predictability by SAP and infrastructure partners to assure your production date. This means that when you are designing your project and you choose to go with SUSE in your operating system for SAP, you could be sure that when you are going to deploy that 1 year later in the implementation phase, you are going to have the latest version of the operating system certified in all your providers, including hyperscalers, including hardware providers. It's going to include the premium certification of vendor SAP. It's going to include the partner experience that you are going to need to implement your system, your SAP environment. Your partner, of course, has worked with SUSE before do your project. And obviously, you could secure that from the design because you're going to have everything that you are going to need to be concentrated in your business design, not in your platform. Your platform could be designed with the help of our best practice or reference architectures, with the collaboration that we do with the infrastructure providers and with SAP. And we need to be sure that we have the best practice. The best practice is a code, not just the engine of automation. Automation is important, but if you need to do your own scripts, really you are not going to implement the best practice. You are able to implement errors on that best practice. You need that these best practices are provided by the operating system in a supported way, in an enterprise supported way, as we are providing the engines too. And of course, this reference architecture simplify the design and reduce the risk and cost of this platform design. An example is how Benchmark secures the SAP performance. SUSE secures your SAP project investment. Only SUSE has more than 172 benchmark with different infrastructure provider, including cloud, and including each kind of environment that you could deploy in your organization, including, for example, virtualization. No other vendor could say that. And it's the only way to ensure that your investment in your hardware are going to have or is going to have the performance that is promised since the design. Okay, we are going to talk about the SAP landscape. It's a broader view about SAP. Because SAP platform is more than just the database, more than just HANA database. Mainly, application servers need to be secure too. When you have a SAP heterogeneous environment with different operating systems for SAP application servers and SAP HANA database, you are going to face different issues and different challenges. In the SAP HANA database, you are going to have the best practice. You are going to have the automation, the certifications, and the endorsed premium certified by SAP that we have talked about. And we're going to have the tools like SUSE Manager and Trento that are going to ensure that you are running the best practice without any drift for all the life cycle of the environment. But if you put the application servers in other operating system like Windows, this best practice automation and certification cannot be applied there. Mainly it's less secure because operating systems like Windows are more vulnerable. And just SREST for SAP enables the maximum security. Not even SUSE Linux, the normal SUSE Linux, is designed for a secure SAP. It's not designed to implement the best practice, the automation, certifications, and tools that we have told about that. And obviously, this lack of best practice, certification, and security features are going to impact your ability to implement a secure SAP platform. The worst thing is that probably your teams are going to skip that, because if you need to have two completely different life cycles, two completely different maintenance cycle, and two complete set of tools to manage that, probably you are not going to implement anything else than the baseline, the simplest environment, and you are going to miss everything, and you are going to increase your downtime. You are going to be or to have a chance to operate that. You are going to lack the support integration with SAP, and you are not going to be able to open this support case directly with SAP. If you extend this environment to the application servers to replacing the operating system for /for SAP and live patching, obviously you are going to be able to leverage the full potential of a secure SAP platform. Because SAP is the foundation of all the SAP environment. You are going to have a more secure environment endorsed by SAP with integrated support, with the certification and the secure software supply chain that we have talked about. It's going to be confidential computing ready in the application servers too. It's going to be easier to be hardened. It's going to have the same vulnerability management and live patching. It's going to have all the features that we have talked about that. But the most important is going to be, or is going to have an homogeneous operation that is going to reduce the cost and risk. It's going to have a unified monitoring and management tool, a unique life cycle. You could apply the same best practice for all the environment. You could do the same automation for the full environment. The automation is not just to deploy one server with database. It's to deploy the server of the database, the application server in cluster, deploying automatically the infrastructure in the hyperscaler. This is the automation. And obviously, you could include the NetWeaver servers and former SAP environments. And use what is important, the SUSE priority support for SAP application that is a common support with SAP for the full environment. I think that this is the only way to leverage the potential of the secure SAP platform. But we need to go farther than the SAP application itself. We need to extend to the SAP landscape outside the SAP infrastructure itself. Maybe we could think about how we have SAP landscape, regardless it's on-premise with S4HANA, with application extensions, or with RISE, or with BTP, or in HANA Cloud, that are going to be based on obviously a secure OS foundation that we have talked about that with the SLES for SAP applications. That we are going to have an SLES for SAP security with the best practice reference architecture with endorsed certification. I'm not going to repeat everything, but all that we have talked about. And of course, we are going to talk about the secure operation that when we include SUSE Manager, the Trento project in all our SAP landscape. But there are other applications that live outside SAP that are connected, applications that are containerized, that we on SUSE could provide a secure container runtime platform with Rancher to you. And we could provide the network security with NeuVector to ensure that you have a trusted environment, a secure environment, that each connection is secure there, that to assure the GDPR compliant, to have having a container scanner for vulnerabilities, prevent the data loss, making an inspection of the package that are transferred in the network, and in the Rancher side, having the same certification that you are going to need in the SAP platform itself, in the application connected. But of course, this could be extended to the edge device with an operating system that could be used in any edge device, like SUSE MicroOS or SUSE Linux Enterprise Server or base container image. And with an management and monitoring tool that is SUSE Manager that could manage any Linux in your environment, including that Linux that are not SUSE, like Red Hat, Ubuntu, that could have that you could have in your organization, and trying to provide the same level of security in all the IT that are connected. Yeah, mainly this could be complemented with SUSE Premium support to support everything in a higher level. Yeah, mainly as a wrap-up or as a conclusion, you could say that only SUSE can provide a more secure SAP platform. Because SUSE provides the needed security and reliability from design to operation, the management tools, and the only operating system endorsed by SAP, preferred by customers and preferred by partners. Thank you to join this session, and don't hesitate to contact me if you have any concern or doubt or question about that. Thank you so much, and have a great day.